All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to create a door for a blueprint for a door opening and closing. All right, the first thing is you got to determine where do you want your door, and I'm just going to put my door anywhere on here, so I'll make sure I've got some space for it right here. Even though I don't have a doorway, I'm still just going to make a door just for the process. First thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a volume here. So, whoops, not there. If you'll click here, and then I'll go to volumes, and I'm going to add a trigger volume. So I go into the quick add right there with the little green plus sign, go down to volumes, and then add trigger volume. All right, the trigger volume appears. You can see it's hovering above the ground, so I do want to put it on the ground. If I just press the end key, E-N-D, the end key on my keyboard, then it will set it directly on the ground. And so I don't have to put a light here this time to indicate where the volume is because I'm going to have a door for that. And so there's my door trigger. So I'm going to change the trigger over here. I'll change the name of it so I can right click and just say rename. And edit, there it is, under edit, rename. And I'm just going to call it door trigger. So it'll be my door trigger.
How big should it be?
What's that?
How big should the trigger volume be?
I just use the default.
Alright.
So the size is the default, and then you can scale it later once you get your door in there to determine how big you want it to be. So, all right, the next thing I'm going to do is I don't really have a door in here right now, so I'm just going to add a static mesh. And so I can go to, let's go down to shapes, and I'm just going to add a cube. And if you'll notice, it says static mesh actor is an instance of a static mesh in the world. Static meshes are geometry that do not animate or otherwise deform. So that's not the one I want. It says they do not animate, they don't deform. So let's go find another one. So I'm going to go down here to geometry and hover over box, and it's going to give me any information about it. So I'm just going to choose box. So I went to geometry, box, created the box. Where'd the box go?
You have to click and drag.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to click it. There, geometry, box. I'm going to click and drag it right out
I
there.
don't get why you have to do that for the geometry.
And I'm going to scale it. So I'm just going to take it and tap my space bar. Make it a little bit smaller so it looks like a door. Maybe I'll increase the size just a little bit and bring it up to the size of a door and then press the end key. So that'll be my door. I'm good with that. All right. That one actually does not look like the door that I want, but you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and use it right now. If it doesn't work, I'll use the other one. So I'm going to put my trigger volume on either side of the door because I want the door to work from both sides. And so I'm actually going to stretch out my trigger volume just a little bit. I want the player, when they're standing in front of it, probably give them a little bit. I don't want them to have to go walk right up until their nose is right up against the door in order to open it. I want them to be able to stand a little bit further away from the door. So in a game, I might have, just like in real life, sometimes we have thresholds in front of doors. I might put a type of a threshold or maybe a material here that would indicate that you're standing where the volume is that's going to open up the door. So you might want to give the player a little indication that, hey, if you stand here or if you stand there, then the door will open. So, all right, I'm kind of happy with the placement of everything. So with my trigger selected, I'm going to go into my blueprint now. So I'll select here, and we're just going to use a level blueprint, open level blueprint. So I went into this middle icon right there, open level blueprint. There it is. And making sure again that my trigger is selected. I'm going to expand this. You guys can only see one of my monitors, so I'm trying. Normally I would do this on a second monitor, but I'm just gonna put it over here. And I'm going to, with my trigger volume selected, I'm going to right click, and notice I have context sensitive selected, so all this information up here is going to be based on whatever I have selected there. So I'd like to add an event for the door trigger, so I'm gonna click, and then I'll click on the collision, and now I see 3 different events. The one that I want is add on actor begin overlap. So I'm going to click on on actor begin overlap. So I like to talk myself through blueprints. So the first thing I'll say is when the actor begins to overlap the door trigger, then what do I want to happen? Well, here's the executable. So I'm gonna drag off the executable. What I would really like to happen is for the door, the static mesh, the door to open. So I'm going to create an animation for that, for the door to open. So I'll take this and I'm just gonna throw it up here for now, and I'll go back into my level. And now I need to create an animation for my door. And so I need to create an animation for my door. This is looking more and more like the one I don't want, so we'll find out in just a moment. Let's create this little thing called a cinematic. So I'm gonna come over here where, look, you see I have the little clapboard right there, so I'll click on the clapboard, and I'm going to say add level sequence. Add level sequence, not the one with shots, but we're just going to add level sequence. And I can give it a name, so I'm just gonna call it, I'll call it door level sequence. Door level sequence, that way I know that's what it is. And I'll just save it there in the content folder. You can create a folder, put your name in it, or the word assets or resources or something like that, or doors or whatever you want for organizational purposes. Yeah.
My Unity took a second to open. What was the volume again?
Is a trigger volume.
How did you make the?
You mean in the blueprint or for creating it?
For creating it.
Yeah, so I just went to the quick add volumes and then it's a trigger volume. All right, very good. So I created my sequence, and you can see down here it opened up where the content browser normally comes up. And with my door selected this time, you can see that in the sequencer, this kind of looks like, if you've had your animation class, it kind of looks like an animation timeline, which it is, because we're animating something, we're going to make it move. And so across the timeline here, these are not seconds, these are frames. Can anybody tell or make a guess as to how many frames per second this is set up to work as right now?
10.
Yeah, how many?
30.
Yeah, 30. Right here, you can see it says 30 FPS. And so there are other options. You can see there's plenty of options. You can even have a custom option if you want. But 30 is pretty standard with animation. And so we're gonna leave ours at 30 frames per second. That is not first-person shooters, that is frames per second. So just keep in mind that every 30 frames is a second. So I have 150 frames here, so how many seconds is that? How many, Travion?
How many seconds are in 30 frames?
You know, how many seconds are in 150 frames? At 30 frames per second. All right, Ben, can you help him?
It's 5.
5 seconds. So all you have to do is take 150, divide by frames per second, that gives you seconds. And if you can just pull up your calculator, and so, oops, came up all the way over there. You can always pull up your calculator, because if you get into big, large numbers, if you're like, oh my goodness, what is like 850? How many seconds is that? Well, you can just divide it by 30 frames per second, and it's 28 1/3 seconds. So, which would mean, if it's a third, it's 0.3333, but how many frames is that? How many frames is a third of a second? If we have 30 frames per second, yeah, it's pretty simple. So when you see the number, you're like, oh my goodness, what is that? It's just 10 frames. It's a third of a second. So, yeah.
How do you get to the sequence thing?
How do you get to the sequencer?
It's the clapboard.
Up here, it's the clapboard. And then if you click on that, say add level sequence. All right, let's keep moving on. Now in my sequencer, over here on the left is where I'm going to add objects that I want to animate. I would like to animate the door. And so I'm going to click add. And if I don't see it up here where it says, and it does, because the door is selected, it says add actor track, add box brush. So it put it there for me because I had it selected. Now let's, I don't see anything, any transforms associated with that. Do you know what transforms are? What are the three transforms?
Scale, move, and rotation.
Yes, location, rotation, and scale over there. So you could also say move, rotate, scale. So good. These are, they used to be called, way back in the day, we used to call them PRS controllers for position, rotation, scale, PRS. And then Epic decided, you know what, we're gonna call it location instead of position. So I've never heard anybody call them an LRS controller or transform, but they used to be called PRS
I
controllers.
mostly heard like, most of them are usually called, from what I remember, like XYZ sometimes. So like that's what I hear most times whenever I hear like scale
Yeah,
rotation.
and each of the transforms has, you can transform them on the X, the Y, and the Z axis, exactly. All right, very good. So I don't have any transforms associated with my box brush, so if I right click on it, then I can say, I can assign transforms to it. And let's see what I can add, assign. Like I said, I may be using the wrong box in there, let's see if I can add, there's nothing there. I'm gonna try the other box, even though it said it was not. Let me try one real quick, I apologize for that. Let me go to shapes, cube, even though it says it does not animate, I think that's the one we're using, so. Alright. I'll just, I'm gonna throw that one right. Oops. I'll just put it right on top of it for the time being.
Where did you get this shape? I'm sorry, I was writing something.
Yeah, so I got it, I went up here to the quick add,
Yeah.
that's the green, and then I just went to shapes, cube.
Oh, okay.
And so, let me see if this is the one, because I'm gonna go ahead, I have it selected, I'm gonna click add actor track, add cube. And so cube is in there, and look, cube comes with transforms. So that's the one I want, that's what I thought. So this one, I'm just gonna delete this box brush. We don't need that one, delete it. Notice that it turned red in my sequencer. This is a good teachable moment. It turned red in my sequencer, which means it's now no longer connected to anything in my scene. So if you ever see red in your sequencer, that just means, hey, something got disconnected and you need to reconnect me. Well, you can't reconnect box brush because I just deleted it. So I just want to delete this line now. So I'm going to right click it and I'm going to delete it. So the cube is the actual one that I want. Line it up here with my, and I'll, I think I have my, there we go. That's better. So again, I went up to quick add, shapes, cube. I wonder why it says it does not animate or otherwise deform, because we're getting ready to animate it. That's interesting. So threw me off for a moment. All right. So this is the cube, it's the door, it's got transforms on it, and I'm gonna rotate it. Now, the problem is that if I rotate this, is it gonna open like a normal door? No, look, what's it gonna do? Why is it doing that?
It's not pivoted on anything, it's not.
It's a revolving door.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's a revolving door, isn't it? Well, I want it to open like a normal door. How does our door that we walk through here, the hinges are on the side, and I want it to open up as if it's a normal door. I want hinges on the side. Now, you can change pivot points in here. They used to not work so well, so I've actually devised a different way of doing it. In fact, it's been so long, I don't know if they've even fixed the pivot point feature in here, but pivot points used to not be able to move. So pivot, I can reset, there's all these things that I can do to pivot, but they never used to hold. It was like a temporary setting. So instead of doing that, let me just show you actually what I think is a better way to do it. So I'm going to, even though I have my cube here, I'm going to create something else. I'm going to create an actor. So let's go into quick add again. And let's go into basic, and there's an actor right there. Now this actor, it says it's an actor, it's an object that can be placed or spawned in the world. So I'm gonna place it in the world, but it's not renderable. You're not gonna see it in the level. And so when you play the level, in fact, I gotta go reposition it. So I'm gonna reposition it and get it pretty close to right where it needs to be right there. That looks actually pretty good right there. I'm kind of happy with the placement of it. I like that. And so so I'm gonna keep that. Now, instead of rotating the door, the cube door, we're gonna rotate the actor and we're going to parent the door to the actor. And the door will be using the actor's pivot point. So, once again, I'm going to delete something out of my sequencer because I just don't need it. I don't need that cube in there anymore, so I'm gonna right click. I'm just gonna delete it out of there. And even though it pulled back, let's go ahead and bring it back to where it was. And I'm gonna double check my actor and click on the actor and make sure it's right where I want it. And I'll move it over just a little bit probably right there. I like that. So the way I'm going to parent them is over here in my outliner. You can see there's my actor and there's my cube. If I want the cube to be a child of the actor, then over here in my outliner, I select the cube, click, drag, and drop it on the actor. Oh, look what it says. Cannot attach actor with static mobility. It has to be movable. Good to know. So let's select our actor. And let's scroll down and let's make it movable. So there's my actor, and down here it'll tell me, somewhere it should say,
Should be under transform.
no, it won't be under transform.
Is it not it's not right under scale?
For making it mobile, making it movable? No? There's normally let's see, it should be for see right under here, it says mobility for my cube. So mobility, I'm gonna make it movable. Maybe that's what it was asking. So I selected my door and underneath scale is mobility and I made it movable. Before it was static, it can't move that way, but if I make it movable now it can move. So let's try it again. I'll take cube, drag and drop on the actor, boom. And then notice the cube is now a child of the parent. So wherever the parent goes, the child is gonna go with it. So I'm gonna select it and just test it. So I'll pull up my rotate and I'm just rotating the actor. And that way I don't have to mess with the pivot point of the door. The door's pivot point is still in the center. And I'm just attached it or parented it to the actor. And the actor is the thing now that we're going to animate in here. So with my actor selected, I will now add actor track, add actor 3. There it is. I don't see any transforms with it, so let's right click and we're going to assign transforms. It's like, I don't know, let me see, things have changed a bit. What is going on? The transforms.
I think your computer's cursed.
Think it's what?
I think it's cursed.
I'm just wondering where all my things that I've normally been able to do, I'm not able to do them anymore.
You can assign transform with the S key, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes,
Gonna assign transforms?
you can assign transform with the S key.
So like you click on the object in the scene to do that?
Yeah, but what transform? Move, rotate, scale?
Yes. Yes, you can do any kind of transform, just press the S key.
Click on it and then hit S.
I think the.
Oh, there it
Have
is.
selected.
You have to click the plus sign to add
Oh.
transforms.
You can also do that, but I'm just saying, you can, pressing S up.
Yeah, S creates a keyframe for everything. I don't wanna create keyframes for everything, I only wanna create keyframes for rotate. So that's why I go there, so I'm gonna click and add a track, and then I want to add a transform track, there we go, and the transforms, there they are, location, rotation, scale. They just moved them, so thankfully we found them. So, if I just press, the create key here, then it's going to create a key for all the transforms, all location, rotation, and scale. I don't wanna do that, I just wanna do it for rotation. So, and I'm not gonna be picky about roll, pitch, and yaw. We're not gonna get there, we're just gonna select one for rotation. So, now, here's if you can learn this next lesson, this will be 50% of the way to making you a great animator. Always set a key at the beginning of motion and at the end of motion, okay? Right there, if you can just remember that, you'll be an amazing animator someday, okay? Always set a key at the beginning of motion and at the end of motion. And I can't tell you how many times over the years, I forget to set the key at the beginning of motion. I'm like, okay, look, there's my door, and then I wanna open it, and then I'll set a key. I forgot to set a key at the beginning, when the door wasn't even moving yet, right? So always set a key at the beginning. All right, so when the player walks up to the trigger volume at frame 0 right here, boom, at frame 0, I'm going to set a key. The teacher said, set a key at the beginning of motion. Now, do you want the easy way to set a key or the really easy way to set a key? All right, here's the easy way, is right in the middle here, in between these two arrows, there's a button. Add a new key at the current time. That's actually the hard way to do it, okay? That's the hard way. So I set a key right there, you can see it put a little red dot there, that's a key frame. It's a key, and then frame 0 is a key frame. And then if I were to look and roll down rotation, you would see that it actually set keys on roll, pitch, and yaw, because I had the upper level rotation clicked on, okay? So I selected rotation, I clicked on the center button there. Now, I want the door to, let's open it a little bit slowly. How about if we just do like 1 2/3, or we'll do 2 seconds. Over 60 frames, 2 seconds, we want the door to open. So it'll open kind of slowly. So I set my slider at frame 60. I'm going to rotate the door open, however far I want it to open, 90 degrees, sure, that's fine. And then I'll set a key. Now here's the easy way. Just hit the enter key. Just hitting enter sets the key. So if you click on the middle button, it sets a key, or if you just press enter, it sets a key. So now I've got 2 keys. The teacher said, always set a key at the beginning of motion and at the end of motion. How do I know it's working? If you grab the little red top of your slider there and just scrub your slider back and forth, then it shows you that, oh, look, the door is gonna rotate open. We just animated it by doing that. So now we have animation. All right, very good. Let's go a little further. I would like,
a quick question.
yeah.
If you're just doing like yaw rotation, is it still important to make sure that you set the pitch and the roll as well?
No.
Or does it not really matter?
No, it doesn't. If you just, you can do one, because we're only doing one of those. My problem is I always forget which is roll, which is pitch, and which is yaw. It's probably just X, Y, Z.
Yeah, it is.
And so, but anyway, I always set it there at the top. So, but yeah, you can pick either roll, pitch, or yaw, however you want to rotate it.
Okay.
And
If you
do that.
hover over it in the transform thing, it'll tell you. Like if you hover over like in the details panel, if you hover over the X rotation, it just tells you that it's
Look at that, it does. Roll, pitch, yaw. There it is, X, Y, Z. So, For this simple one, I always do it for rotation.
Okay.
So, but yeah, if you wanna like, no, I only want that one, absolutely, go for it. And it does, what we're doing doesn't hurt it, and the way you suggested, same thing. So we're good. Now, let's wait 1 second to allow the player to walk through our door. So from 0 to 2 seconds to open, and it's open, let's wait 1 second, so we're gonna add 30 frames, so we'll go to frame 90. And we're just pausing, so I'm just gonna set another key here of just pause. We're not doing anything, so just press the enter key again. And there it is. So now I'm gonna scrub my slider. Nothing is happening between 60 and 90 frames there. All right, very good. And then I want it to close. Let's make it close a little faster. Let's make it close over like 1 second, so it'll close a little faster. So I'm gonna add 30 frames to that. So I'll scrub my slider over to frame 120. And then this time we have to close the door. So there it is, it's closed, set a key, boom, and it looks good. So I'm gonna go back to the beginning, I'm gonna hit the play is over here down in the lower left corner, I'm gonna hit the play button. It opens nice and slow, it waits 1 second for the player to get through, and then closes a little bit faster. Now, we've got about 30 frames of space here that we don't want, because nothing's happening here, I'm not using it. So I need to, the red line is the end of the animation sequence. The green line is the beginning of your animation sequence. So I'm just gonna come up here into my timeline where the numbers are, and I'll grab it, and I'm just gonna slide it over to frame 120 right there. And that way there won't be any extra time wasted right there, because the player may another player may come over and want to open the door immediately. So as soon as it's done, that way it won't have to wait 1 second in between. If we did want to wait 1 second, there's actually a different place where we could do that. We would put a delay on our blueprint if we wanted to do that. So I'm pretty much finished with my sequence right now. Any questions on the sequence?
No.
All right, let's go ahead and save it. So I'm gonna hit the save button right there, click. That saves my sequence. I can close my sequence now. And if you're like, oh no, what if I need to make some changes to my sequence? There's 2 places you can open up your sequencer again. One is over here in the outliner. If you just look for where it says level sequence, and there it is, door level sequence. And you just saw the other place. The other place is the little clapboard icon in my scene. If I click on that, then it will open up the door level sequence. The cool thing about this is that little clapboard, it can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be anywhere near your sequence. It could just be way up here, and it doesn't matter. It's just an icon, like a placeholder for your level sequence. So anyway, all right, so let's go back into our blueprint.
A really quick question.
Yes.
If you want to have it set up so that the closing doesn't happen until the player leaves the trigger volume, do you have to set that up as a second sequence?
So you can, but here's what you could do. If I select the trigger volume and go back in here, if I right click, there was another event, a collision event in there called add on actor hit. And so when it hits it, it'll do it, and then when it's not hitting it, it'll stop doing it. So, but if I wanted to do it as soon as the actor ends the overlap, then I could do another animation with it closing. So I would do two different.
It would be 2 animations in that case.
So yes, that would be 2 animations in that case. Okay. Yeah. So yep. So right there. So I've got begin overlap and end overlap. But yeah, that would trigger a second animation. So all right, very good. So I've got my animation all set up in there, my level sequence. I don't have a good way to get my level sequence in here, so the way I do it is I'm gonna drag the thing off a little bit. I'm actually gonna drag it over here from my outliner, the door level sequence. Let's get that into my blueprint. So I'm just gonna click, drag, and drop, boom, right in there, my door level sequence. And then I'll put that back up into here, so, because I need that. So I'm gonna move those over here a little bit. All right, so my door level sequence, so what do I wanna do with it? So when the actor begins to overlap the door trigger, I would like to execute my sequence. And so I want to, there's a better word, I want to play my level sequence. So I'm going to, if I do this, if I pull off the executable and type in the word play, there's like tons of plays in here. There's all sorts of plays, and it's like, which play do I use? I have to go gameplay. I'm looking for one that's a cinematic, because remember where we got it from? Our level sequence is in the cinematic button up here. And so, maybe we didn't say that before, but it's a cinematic up there. So anyway, I wanna find my play button from the cinematic. And if you type in the word cinematic, you're gonna get the word cinematic, but you're not gonna get the word play with it. So you have to type in the word play and then go find it. Play, and then we're just looking, I'm scrolling until I see the word like play cinematic. And it's probably about halfway down. Sequencer, we're not creating a level sequence, it just says play. So I'm just gonna keep scrolling until I see the word play. Let's see, we're halfway down. And, I'm beyond halfway, so I just realized what the problem is. The problem is that, when I do this, I have the context sensitive button on, and I want to uncheck context sensitive to give me more options. So now I can look for it and I can see where it is. It's normally right around halfway here. And let's see, game, feedback. I'm just gonna have to keep scrolling until I find it. Gameplay.
I found play animation.
No, that won't do it. Play animation won't do it.
You'd think.
You would think.
It sounded similar enough, I'm like,
We need play cinematic. And I actually took a screen capture to make it easy for you guys. So there's a play, but this says the target is the media player. Well, that's not what we want. We want the target to be the level sequence. So that play isn't gonna work, but this is what it's gonna look like eventually when we find it. So I'm just gonna keep scrolling, media playlist. It'll say cinematic somewhere.
Sure is a place.
I may have passed it already. So there's gotta be an easier way to find it, I just haven't found it yet. Yeah, Luke?
If you pull the reference pin off of the sequence itself, and then you reference the sequence player,
Right.
then you can, that had, like, when you pull the pin off of that, you can look for play
Yeah,
there.
it specifically finds it for that. Yep.
Yeah.
So here, I think I found it. Target is movie scene sequence player. And let's see if it is. I'll pull that off and hit play. And click context sensitive. And let's see. I gotta go up. Play. I don't see it for that.
You have to reference the sequence player component from the sequence.
What do you mean? I have to type in
Sequence player.
sequence player?
I guess.
Not sure, let's see. Hold on, I actually took a snapshot of it to make it easy to show you what it looks like, and I'll give you the snapshot. So. Because it's, there it is. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like. Game cinematic play is what we're looking for. Game cinematic play is the one we're looking for. So I took a picture of it to make it so you know what we're looking for. So let's see if this hooks up. that. Now I'm not sure if that's the correct one since there's a middle one. Anyway, let's try it and see. If it doesn't play, then I don't have the right one. Movie scene sequence player. I don't think that's the right one. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna see if I can match what I have here. Game cinematic play is what I'm looking for. And if you'll notice, the scrubber is about halfway down. So I'm gonna drag off of that, type in the word play. Then I'm just looking for game cinematic. And let's see, so there's a game, but I don't see that. That's the thing, is there's so many different ones in here. Let's see. Game, utilities. I think I already passed it again. Oh, uncheck context sensitive. Game. Oh, maybe that's it. What's this one? No. Well, I'll leave that, and we'll just see. We'll leave it and see, otherwise I'll go back and look for it again. But anyway, I'm just gonna compile it. So, and let's talk through it. When the actor begins to overlap the door trigger, it's going to play the movie scene sequence player. Which sequence is it going to play? The door level sequence. So that's all it's gonna take. So I hit compile, I'm gonna go into my level, and I'm just gonna hit play, and let's go see if it'll work now. So I'm gonna come down here. It opens, I come through, I get out of it, I'm gonna wait, and it slams shut. What about getting on it from the other level, from the other way? Yep, opens, I can go back through it. So that was the correct blueprint there. So open, stays open for 1 second, and then close over 1 second, and I can do it as many times as I want. There we go. So it looks like the movie scene sequence player is correct, and we do need that converter node in between there. So the way we got to it was by I'll delete those. The way we got to it was once we added the door level sequence node in there, if you click off of it, type in play, uncheck context sensitive, and then you should be able to, then you'd find the play movie scene sequence. You may have to scroll though, so. I don't know any other way to get to it. Let's see. I wonder if I can do cinematic. See, if you do game cinematic, that's where I need to be, but it doesn't say play there. Let's see if I type in the word cinematic play. Yeah, I haven't done this in a while as far as like looking to find a easier way to find it. So it's just, oops. Play. I can spell right. Anyway. All right, any questions? Yeah, Richard.
What is it under cinematic again?
It's under, it's under game, cinematic, and then play. That's what we're looking for, game, cinematic, play. And target is movie scene sequence player. I wonder if I could say movie scene sequence player. Movie scene.
Under my game cinematic order, I have way fewer options. I only have about 5 total options under that folder.
Yeah. Did you uncheck context sensitive?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
It actually also just went straight to game cinematic in the general folder. I didn't search anything.
Is play one of the options?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's the same for me. I only have 5 other options.
If you hit play, if you type in the word play?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can find it again. And the other thing is you can't expand this window to get more, to see more stuff, so. I think I passed it already. Movie scene. Shouldn't have deleted it. Game. Anyway. I'm just trying to find out how far down it is. Yeah, those aren't ones I want. Okay. Let me see if I can undo all the way back to it. There it is. All right, so the target is the movie scene sequence player. I'll see if I can figure out another way to find that faster, but anyway. All right, so compile it and it works. Save, there we go. So you could use this same process for doing tons of things. Think about if you've ever played God of War. What about when Kratos is opening a treasure chest, right? And so it's got the top of the treasure chest has some hinges on it and it's just gonna rotate open. And so what I would do is when Kratos walks up to the treasure chest, the moment he's there and whatever he's doing, he's in a state now where he's like struggling to open the chest, and then he opens it, then I would use this animation, the level sequence, in order to go ahead and animate the top of the chest to open when he walks up to it. So, and then you could have other little effects of the swirling orbs that do their thing and come into them and all that. So all of that can be triggered at separate times or together. So, all right. So we went through a lot, we learned a lot. I mean, afterwards you're like, well, that's a pretty simple setup. It is a pretty simple setup, but until you know the exact steps for doing it, it can be a little challenging. But you can do this and you can now animate scale, you can animate rotation, you can animate location of any of this. What if I wanted the door to be like a Star Trek door, right? Doors that open from the side. I can make doors open from side. So instead of rotating them, I'm moving their location. So they're just sliding. What if I want doors to go up or doors to go down? And so all you're doing is moving them instead of rotating them. So you can have double doors, so they rotate on the outside hinges, so they open this way. And you can set up you can use the same level sequence to animate two doors, so you don't have to have two sequences for that one. You can just do one sequence all right there because they're both opening at the same time. So sometimes you like those diamond doors, right? That are in sci-fi shows where they kind of look like that and when they open, those are pretty cool. You can animate those in the exact same level sequence as well. So a lot of different uses for this, and we just did a really simple one, but you could make it as complex as you want to. So make it interesting for the player, make it fun, make it interesting, whatever they need to do. So, all right, any questions about that? All right, it is 12:20. Why don't we take a break? We'll come back and then I'll show you all how I would prefer you and probably the best practice for migrating stuff from a package. How about that?